All right, so this is going to be the rest of the UTMB records. I was finally able to get the rest of the records. They only sent me half to begin with, but just it's medical records. Um, I kept it short and just limited it to UTMB. Uh, Next video will have school records and therapist records. Lots of interesting information in here, and the next video should be out. I should be done with it in the next day or two. If you haven't watched the rest of them, check out YouTube, Brandon Brewer 339. Just take a look. Everything I say is factual, backed up by medical records, phone records, everything. They killed him. So these are some more records I got. I reached out to Livingston Police Department, several weeks ago, asking for an email where I can send these, because one of them is like 1,400 pages long. The one from Memorial Medical Center, the last place that treated them. So I'm just going to read some of the notes. Again, pause and read if you like. But 1/2/2017, contacted dad's patient. This is from Danielle Weiss, the dietitian. Contacted patient's dad to let him know the results of Coby's blood draw from 12/20, which was in a good range. Dad was happy with his level. This was the result taken on Tuesday after being with mom. However, he was surprised as they figured out that the scales they were using were not accurate and had never been calibrated. So to explain that, we got scales, some used, some new, but since we had never actually weighed anything, I had no idea. We had no idea that they needed to be calibrated every now and then. So that's why his numbers were a little bit low, because we changed what was working for the last 5 years to weighing everything like his mom wanted to do. But here we are. Therefore, mom was overestimating the fee in many foods by almost 50%. Dad ordered 2 new scales and a new calibrator, and they hope to get his levels under control and stable. There should be at least one other level pending. And Dad said that if this one is too low, it is likely still due to the scale discrepancy. 5/25/17, contacted by Dad, requested a new prescription refill be sent to Brookshire's for his Phenex 2. We'll submit to it shows that I dealt with everything. Patient's new, 6/5, patient's new prescription was submitted previously for his Phenex 2. However, when the pharmacy ran the request through his insurance, it was noted that his plan had changed and he now needed prior approval since his formula is a plan exclusion. I contacted the insurance department, who stated we needed to submit a letter of medical necessity and clinicals to the predetermination department. This was submitted on the turnaround time is 21 days. Dad was contacted by phone with the update to ensure patient will not run out of formula. Also reported his last fee levels from home. Collected May 23rd, 17. His fee was 6 milligrams. His tyrosine was 1.6. Dad said that there were no food logs for the dates prior to this level, and Coby was with his mom, so he would have to check with her to see if he had higher fee intake that week. For now, we did not change his prescription, just stressed need to stick to it. Yeah, remember we were supposed to be weighing a log and everything? No logs. Just another day. Let's see. 10/18/17. Coby has been spending more time with his mom and his parents, are returning to court soon to reassess the custody split. Previously, Coby had spent weekends with mom, but now he is spending a week at a time with her. Mom has been reaching out to registered dietitian to become more involved in his BKU care. He is 5 years old. And I said this in previous videos. 5 years old, she didn't care about his diet or about him until I took her back to court. So she's just now saying, hey, I want to learn more. I want to know how to take care of my 5-year-old son that has a special diet and has had a special diet since birth. Anyway, patient is playing football with 3 practices per day and a game once a week. Well, it's 3 practices per week, but patient's mom emailed registered dietitian asking for a list of foods that shouldn't be counted on his fee prescription because it was known that there are certain foods dad does not count, like the free stuff. I told her I didn't have a specific list, but that dad has over time let Coby have autonomy to freely eat certain foods that are really low in fee within a reasonable amount. I knew that these foods mostly consisted of fruits and vegetables such as grapes, apples, carrots, but I would need to reach out to dad for a more comprehensive list. The dietitian has to reach out to me because I took care of my son. Mom said that she'd been counting everything that Coby eats to a max of 425 milligrams of fee. I agree that this is the most precise way, but if we did this, we would need to increase his total fee prescription because when he's with dad, he receives the 425 from counted foods, plus the additional fees from the items that aren't counted, the free stuff. I estimated that it probably wasn't more than 50 milligrams of fee a day. We agree that this is probably why Coby's levels are lower at her house because he gets 425, including low fee fruits and vegetables. Because I tell her how to do stuff because this is what works. She don't want to do it. And now at this time, his numbers are low, which means he's not going to grow up. He's not going to develop properly. He's not going to, get taller and everything else. Mom also asked what goal feed blood levels we were aiming for, and I stated 2 to 6. She's, again, 5 years old. She has no idea about anything. I stated that normal feed levels for a person without PKU were slightly lower, and that, slightly lower, and that a level slightly under 2 is not concerning as long as he is growing and developing appropriately. But that levels consistently less than 1 are concerning that he is not getting enough feed from food. Mom verbalized understanding. I then reached out to dad to see if he could specify which food Coby is allowed to eat without counting into his feed prescription of 425. Let's see. It was explained that I agree it improves Coby's quality of life to be able to have some control over his diet. But in order to keep his regimen to work between homes, it has to be reproducible. Dad reviewed the school menus and foods they keep in the house, and together we came up with a list of foods to give Mom that would be okay to let him ad lib in addition to the 425. The list of foods are apples, applesauces, blueberries, grapes, himika, kiwi, oranges, peaches, pears, pineapples, plums, strawberries, watermelon, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, green beans, lettuce, tomatoes, and ranch when eaten with any of the above veggies. Dad feels this method has allowed Coby to feel more normal at school, to feel included in the school meals, which are served family style, and allow him to follow his own hunger cues and make some decisions on his own. This is a positive approach and worth trying to maintain. It was estimated that the fee from these foods vary, but between 20 to 50 a fee per day. So he likely gets 445 to 475 fee total. This variation in diet would also explain the variation between 2 to 6 in his blood levels when he's at dad's house. In order to prevent going over 475, you just can't get it all from starches. Just go back to some of the highlighted stuff. When speaking to Mom, she asked if Coby needed to drink the formula within 15 minutes for any medical reason. I said no, and that after drinking it within 30 minutes seems to be reasonable, appropriate time, and that after an hour it should be back in the refrigerator to prevent bacteria from growing. It seems Mom is able to get him to drink the formula in this time frame without issue, but she reported Dad makes Coby drink the formula within 15 minutes or he receives spankings. All right, so this date that this was noted is October 18th, 2017. The last time that we had to deal with anything was July 27th, 2016, and y'all have seen those emails in previous videos. This is just Mom being ridiculous because remember, she has no problem getting them to drink, but hey, can you come make him drink because I've threatened and spanked him, and now he's just running and hiding and crying. Yeah, I showed you those text messages, so you gotta love it. 10 to 12 and 10 13, low fee. All right, and the following email was sent to both parents per our agreement to include Mom on all communication. Again, 5 years old, and she's just now trying to be involved. Also, now that I have more access to his logs, spreading out his feed throughout the day may help him ensure he can get it all in over time and not have a lot of it at the end of the day that he's struggling to try and get him to eat. So, like I told him in that ugly letter that on a previous video, you got to spread it out. You can't just give it to them all at one time and hope for the best. Susie, I'm attaching a list of some healthier, higher fee food items I had sent Brendan previously for ideas on meals/food that help him meet his fee prescription throughout the day. Most of the fruits and vegetables in this particular list will be counted because they are higher in fee, but the idea is he still gets his fee in, but gets more nutrition-dense foods. So there's balance between letting them have junk all day and letting them have like decent stuff. Dad followed up that he had given Mom this list when it was originally sent to him, and he sent a screenshot of the email. Per Dad, the level of 1.2 was after being with Dad for several days, and the level of 0.7 was after being with Mom for 1 day. Yeah. Like, I keep the records because I sent her this list. She just didn't want to listen. She didn't care. 12/12/17, I was contacted by the social worker assigned to Coby Brewer. He asked how many times I'd met each parent. So this is the guy, he's not a social worker, he was the evaluator. Asked where Coby had been seen, how often we see Coby in clinic, and she explained that she knew Coby for over 3 years. We see him every 4 to 6 months, and he'd been seen in both clinics. I explained that I'd met Mom twice in 3 years after I became involved in Coby's care, and again when she came to clinic after Dr. Ray took over as his physician. She told Royce that was his name, the evaluator. It explained to me by Dad that he was usually the one to bring him because clinic fell on his day off. And you make the appointment. You know, it's like every 6 months, but it's just like dentist appointment and everything else. Like, yeah. You just make it, and you have 6 months notice to, hey, take the day off. So Mom didn't have an excuse that she couldn't come to any appointments. So asked if Coby would have this disorder for life, and I answered yes. He asked about Coby's prognosis through age 18. I stated that Dr. Ray would have to comment on Coby's prognosis specifically, but that in general, patients with PKU whose blood levels and nutritional statuses are maintained in normal ranges have a good prognosis. Royce asked if I felt both parents were willing and able to take care of Coby's PKU, and I answered yes. I stated there has been more effort to reach out and educate Mom, since Dad had primarily been the point of contact, but Mom seems to be trying, and we are arranging for a time for her to bring Coby in herself. Yeah. She's trying. Just now at 5 years old, she wanted to start trying. Received the email from patient's dad. Gave her a phone number for Edgepart for his formula. It's like a provider. They needed the new prescription. Told her Susie finally did her part with your help and got everything sorted out with it. Should be free through medical. It still wasn't, but it was no longer going through the prescription side of insurance. This is March of 2018. And I just, again, backs up what I've already said, that I took care of everything, and I was begging her to do her part. Reviewed his food log sent by Dad. His levels are trending upwards on the higher end of the target range of 2.6 or 2 to 6. However, his recorded intake is still right at 450. And his intake of the low-fee fruits and vegetables that don't count don't seem to be more excessive than previously. He's also consuming around the same amount of calories, and all his formula is recorded. His parents still do blood draws twice weekly, so we'll be able to monitor his blood levels, see if they trend out of the normal range, requiring a decrease. Dad said patient has tried all the samples requested. He did like the orange PKU Shake and Go formula, but still prefers his Phoenix 2. Dad said he still wants new formulas to be offered to Coby as they come out, and I said it's a good idea so he knows he has options. For now, he takes his Phoenix without issue. Like I said, since we finally got an understanding 2 years ago now, he's drinking his milk without an issue. So you go back and I looked at the calendar. This is a blood test that was sent back without actually being reviewed, because she put the wrong date of birth on the form. Yeah, yeah, because she just now starting to take tests, but she ain't. There's like two blanks you have to fill out on the thing, and his name and date of birth. But anyway, um, same thing. Another time on Mom's Day, that they were unable to process it because it was missing either the name or date of birth, the two blanks. So this is uh, November 2019. You can see I put on there whose house he was at and where it should have been. So his levels are high at Mom's house. They level out back at mine, and then back at Mom's house, no name or date of birth on the filter paper. It's awesome. Since his most recent fee was WNL, we did not make any changes. Dad had questions about making some recipes from camp, which were answered. Like, it was looking like, yeah, let me get, because he loved the chicken nuggets there. So what's the recipe so I can make them at home? And we made them at home, along with anything else he wanted. Let's see. His fee is much better controlled now with his tyrosine indicating adequate formula consumption. Dad contacted me separately to report that he spoke with Mom about his concerns about Coby's high fee in December. Coby reported missing Kuvan at her house and no consistent labs sent from her house. Dad feels like they're on the same page now, which is correlating to his improved levels. That's January of 21. Some notes. He may also be very sensitive to symptoms when his blood Phe approaches 6 and is unable to cross the blood-brain barrier into his brain, affecting his processing speed, decision-making, mood, focus, etc. He's had a lot of changes, and having a consistent Phe level and consistent PKU regimen at both homes can definitely help him better handle all that life brings. This is March of 2021. He's sensitive to the high levels. So on this one, there's a bunch of stuff. By all means, pause and look at it. His numbers are good at my house, not good at Mom's house. But of the 4 levels sent, 3 were from Mom's house and were all high. The 1 level from Dad's house was in range. I recommend we decrease his fee because 6 of the last 10 levels were above 7. And despite differences between management at each home, he needs help getting his blood Phe lower. So now he gets to eat less food because she's not tracking the stuff right. She's not measuring and weighing it right. From patient's dad to patient's mom and myself. This is me telling them, I don't mind lowering his Phe to get him leveled out, but it's not going to make a difference if Susie doesn't start tracking correctly. The chart shows the test done at each house, and every single time he comes to hers, it's higher. Every single time he leaves ours, it drops down. Clearly, there's a problem in correlation to her tracking and his high Phe levels, which could explain his constant behavior problems at home and school. He can weigh his own food, he can log his own food, he can do his own blood tests. I say let him because what's happening over there, it obviously isn't working. Let's get his numbers down, and we'll end up going back up in a week or two. She sent the following response. Coby is very sensitive to any excess Phe and seems to be affected if he consumes even slightly more Phe than his available enzyme can process, which seems to be 385 milligrams at this time. Or if he misses his formula or Kuvan. If his food isn't being weighed, any slight underestimation of Phe can affect his level because he is so sensitive with a clear threshold of Phe tolerance. If his food is being weighed but levels are still too high, the scale may need to be checked and recalibrated. If he's missing his Kuvan, scheduling it at school can help ensure he gets it every day around the same time, even if he takes it at school only certain days of the week. Yeah. So this is, again, more the test. I test as soon as he walks in the door. He comes in with an 8.8 and no tyrosine. 3 days later, he's back within his good ranges because we're taking care of business. Coby's dad has been sending frequent levels on Coby, trying to prove that his levels are consistently higher at Coby's mom's house, and within range at his house. It does seem to be a consistent pattern. Not only is his Phe higher on 313, but his tyrosine is borderline low and much lower than that as usual baseline, indicating inadequate formula intake. Since these levels were drawn, we have reduced his Phe from food from 385 milligrams to 340 milligrams, trying to and help lower Phe levels. But Dad thinks patient is able to tolerate 385 as shown at his house, but he needs compliance with his formula and Kuvan as well as his food weight, which he does not think always happens at mom's house. Dad said Coby told him his mom only weighs his food on the days she does blood draws. Dad's not sure if it's true, but wanted to report what Coby said. Dad contacted me. We spoke on the phone about 25 minutes. He's worried about negligence at his mom's house. Dad said he has proved that Coby's level increased to above 8, around 8, when at his mom's for 3 days and then comes back down to 5 after being at his house for 3 days. Dad is worried about his constantly fluctuating levels, as well as the fact that 50% of his week is spent with the Phe level of greater than 6. Dad feels Coby's attention and need for ADHD medication and his behavior problems at school and home are a direct result of higher Phe. He also says his grades are declining. Dad reports Coby gets all his formula and Kuvan delivered to their house, Dad's house, and he sends Coby with a 30-day supply to his mom. He tracks when Coby should need more at her house, based on his number of days there. And it is always weeks later that she asks for more, indicating to Dad that Coby does not get his full amount of formula and Kuvan each day that he's at his mom's. We discussed potentially having more of his Kuvan and formula at school so that he's less likely to miss at his mom's house, but this would just be a temporary solution. I discussed with Dr. Ray, and he recommended we get Mom to come in for her own visit. Emailed Mom a list of potential dates to choose from. If this does not improve his metabolic control, we can involve our social worker, Tia. So they were concerned as well. They saw the same things I saw. This is March of 21. Because, again, I don't have to lie. I have the truth. I have facts on my side. And these are notes that Coby's dietitian put into his records that weren't included with the original records. I actually had to reach back out and hey, feel like we're missing stuff. 5/12/21. Contacted parents to report the most recent home Phe levels. 5/2 at mom's house, 10.6, no tyrosine. Excess Phe intake, inadequate formula intake. Mine, after three days at my house, they went down. Still weren't within range, but again, had I had them for 7 days instead of 3, they'd have been back to normal. But his Phe went down, his tyrosine went up. Patient's dad remains frustrated at how quickly his levels jump up in just 2 or 3 days at his mom's house, and his tyrosine is frequently low. He does not feel confident the recent appointment with Mom will help, but we'll have to monitor levels and see if there are any changes at her house that will improve his PKU. So this is May of 2021. Keep all that in mind. May 26, 2021. Called father to discuss most recent clinic visit with Coby and mother. We discussed reinforcing things that were going well while addressing refinement of things that could use improvement in order to help better control Coby's Phe levels while he's at his mother's. We reviewed the clear pattern of levels with the 2 to 6 goal range while with Dad, and levels that would rise above 6 after staying with Mom for a couple of days. Mother suspects sneaking food and has established means to verify if this is going on while Coby is staying with her. In the meantime, she will focus efforts on weighing food and be more accurate with knowing the amount of Phe in foods that she allows Coby to eat. We will continue to monitor the frequent levels to see how things improve over the next month or so and plan for early follow-up if there's no improvement. So this is the same day. This is notes from the day that Susie had her special appointment, just her and Coby, so that they could meet face to face and get everything under control. This is the same day that she didn't weigh the fries that she gave him from McDonald's that are high in Phe. You saw that in a previous video where I went and just ordered a small and a kid size She said he got kid size, but actually gave him the small, or vice versa. But she did not weigh what she gave him the same dang day that she had a special visit. Gotta love it. Contacted patients. This is June. The most recent one was 11.9 and no tire seen. This was collected at Dad's house, and Dad says there's no explanation for such a high level. He stated he would check in because on 5/26, this is where we found all his formula underneath the seat after a vacation. Asked us to send fruity or chocolate. I'm not sure where we left off, but either way, this is after we got back from vacation and found he wasn't drinking his formula as he said he was. So today is my birthday. We can delete that out. All right. 11 November 21. Contacted patient's mom to report the results. Hey, look at that, 3.5 and 1.7. Only had 2 days of formulas remaining. Mom reached out this morning to say Coby had 2 days of formula remaining. She was supposed to receive a delivery last week. She spoke with Apex, who said it was delivered last Thursday. Said it was shipped to my house instead of Mom's. We spoke several months ago to get the address changed. Mom said there's a new restraining order against Dad, and she continues to have sole custody of Coby. Therefore, obtaining the formula from Dad would not be a good idea. So, there was never a new restraining order. I've yet to see one. I was never served with one. The protective order was denied. Never seen a restraining order to this day. The school didn't have anything on record. And Mom or CPS could have reached out and said that, hey, did you get this order? Can we send it over there? What am I going to say? No, that's just dumb. But lies. This is what it is. All right, and here we go. May. Oh, these are backwards. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is a year later. Fee amount 6.8, 8.4. On 5/10, after these levels were collected, patient's mom and I already made a plan to decrease his fee to $240. A bag of chips has 100. Like a small bag, little snack size chips has 100. That's all he could eat was 2.5 bags of chips a day. Think about that. Because of this change is based on his 4 previous levels that were 8 to 9. Since then, he has not had a new level sent, as patient stayed at his grandparents' house for 8 straight days while Mom worked overtime at an inmate escape assignment. She'll do another blood test this week, but it may still be out of range given the change in his normal routine, which means my parents don't trust my parents to do it. And so he was with my parents for 8 days. Stepdad didn't, step up and help or anything. She registered Coby for PKU camp, and apparently I was arrested this year for injury to a child, criminal negligence. It was waiting trial. That never freaking came, because otherwise all of this would be in there. But, how dare I love my son. Let's see, May of 2024. So this is how bad it's gotten. And they're trying to get a new medicine for older kids. And it's only a couple of years old. There's really no long-term studies that have been done on it. So it's, just a step above experimental, really. But Coby was diagnosed with PKU at birth. Explains what it is. Without treatment starting at birth, patients develop profound and irreversible intellectual disability. Even when treated from birth through childhood to preserve brain development, difficulties maintaining blood Phe levels later in life can result in significantly negative neurocognitive outcomes. These include, but are not limited to, and there's a lot of stuff I don't even explain: poor executive functioning, slow information processing, poor impulse control, reduced attention span, anxiety, depression, and general emotional instability, limited problem solving and task initiation skills, and poor cognitive flexibility. Coby suffers from these symptoms daily, which significantly impacts his ability to perform in school. This could have lasting impacts on his future. This is from the doctor. Letter of medical necessity for this new drug. So, for Coby specifically, his diet is restricted to 6 grams of protein from food per day. 6 grams of protein a day. Look in everything that we eat. There's at least 1 gram of protein in damn near everything. Complete avoidance of red meat, poultry, fish, shellfish, beans, lentils, eggs, dairy, nuts, seeds, nut butters, seed butters, quinoa, I don't know, soy, and tofu. The only foods low enough to safely consume are fruits, vegetables, and some grains in limited quantities. Even the safe foods must be weighed and measured and eaten in small quantities. All right, so we can keep on rolling. Coby's average Phe over the last year has been 11, ranging from 7 to 18. No Phe. This means no Phe level collected in the past year has been in this treatment range. He has not been able to maintain lower blood Phe adherence to his diet. See, like, he went for a whole year with high blood Phe, and this is the last year he was alive. Yeah. Our clinic has successfully managed patients on this medication since 2018, including several patients under 18 years old. Optimal management of blood Phe during the adolescent and teen years is crucial and impacts their long-term future, obviously, because Coby no longer has a long-term future, because they just failed to do for him. We are concerned about Coby's brain health and intellectual potential if he continues to have Phe levels above 10. It is a daily struggle to consume the formula, and his nutritional status is a concern. It is medically necessary for Coby at his current age of 13, since the current therapies have not been effective in controlling his PKU. The blood damage from high blood Phe levels that will continue to occur without this drug is irreversible, and he is at risk for continued high blood levels for the next 5 years, because the only person that knew him, knew his diet, and made sure it was adhered to was ripped out of his life over lies and hate and just plain evil people. Yeah. In summary, we're advocating for authorization of this drug for treatment of PKU in our patients to decrease harmful high Phe levels into a safe range. Don't get much more harmful than that.